Grade ones. Here's Mark.
And they're off. This is the Grade 1 Ladbrokes Christmas Hurdle over 2 miles. Highway 102 is the first to break the line. Out wide, Métier racing alongside Constitution Hill. On the inside is So Royal. The back marker, the mare Epatante, as they rise at flight number 1. Highway 102 leads here by about a length and a half to Constitution Hill, who took it in second. He was more fluent than Métier on the outside in third. So Royal and then Epatante as they go now towards flight number 2. Highway 102 comes to it with a lead of around about a length. Constitution Hill closing up now to within a length. Then Métier racing in a very close third. The last duo, Epatante, on the outside of So Royal, and they have a circuit to go in the Ladbrokes Christmas Hurdle. And it is Highway 102 and Jamie Moore who takes them into the turn, followed by Constitution Hill, Nico de Boinville in second, Métier, Jonathan Burke out wide in third, then towards the inner, So Royal, Sam Twiston Davis, and the back marker, the dual winner of this race, Epatante and Aidan Coleman. Racing on now towards flights 3 and 4. Highway 102 to the inside of Constitution Hill. Now a little wider, Métier now joining in as they now go towards this flight. There'll be little between Métier and Highway 102 with Constitution Hill between them, and then Epatante on the heels of Métier, and on the inside is So Royal. On now towards halfway. Flight number 4, Constitution Hill jumped that one well, and he just noses the lead on the inside. Highway 102, there's little between them as they take the turn, which brings them towards halfway. Highway 102 against the rail. Constitution Hill towards his outside, now a neck away in second. There's then 2.5 lengths back to Métier on the outside of Epatante, and up against the inside rail is So Royal. So they've headed through the halfway point inside the final mile, and they're closing up now as they approach the fourth from home. Constitution Hill on the outside of Highway 102, and these are still the first duo. Métier out wide of Epatante, So Royal towards the inside as they rise at the next flight of hurdles. Constitution Hill on the outside of Highway 102. The mistake came from Epatante there, who landed rather side on, but she has moved into third place. Then So Royal and Métier being niggled along at the back of the field. They're going now on inside the final 3/4 mile and approaching the third from home. Constitution Hill on the outside of Highway 102 as they rise at 3 out. Constitution Hill, a beautiful jump. It carries him into a lead of 3 parts of a length over Highway 102, who's now ridden. Epatante trying to get to within a couple of lengths in third, and these three have gone 5 lengths clear of So Royal, who in turn is 4 lengths in front of Métier. They begin to make the turn back towards home. Racing now well inside the final half mile of the Ladbrokes Christmas Hurdle, and Constitution Hill is cruise control around the outside to take the lead by a length to Highway 102 in second. Epatante in third, about to challenge for second place as the Nicky Henderson duo are about to go 1-2. They've made the turn in. Constitution Hill towards the near side. Epatante stays towards the far side. There's still a length between them as they rise at the second from home. Constitution Hill didn't get very high there, a mistake, but his lead is 3 lengths now over Epatante in second. Then Highway 102 as they race towards the final flight. Constitution Hill readily pulls clear. The lead is extended to 8 lengths as he comes over the final flight. He jumps it well. Epatante over in second. Highway 102 is in third. He's never come out of second gear here. Constitution Hill virtually in a common canter to take the Grade 1 Ladbrokes Christmas Hurdle. Constitution Hill without breaking sweat. Epatante in second. Big run in third from Highway 102.
Immediate reaction to that from Constitution Hill from Nico de Boinville. What do you make of that?
What an amazing racehorse. He's very, very straightforward. You can ride him any way you'd like. You can go on, you can take a lead. You know, you could have Métier, on your girths halfway around. And he's just a consummate professional. I thought he was dossing a bit turning in, hence why he's made a bit of a mistake 2 out. But I think he's just needed a bit of a wake up.
If you had to put the closing stage into what gear he was in, what gear was he in?
All the way around, I'd say he was in sort of second or third gear. And in actual fact, if something came to my girth, he would have gone away.
Simple as that.
Yeah, honestly.
Well done.
Thank you.
Constitution Hills trainer Nicky Henderson alongside me. Tell me what it's like watching this horse now throughout a race.
Well, you know, over the years we've been very, very lucky, and there have been some very good horses, and the better they get and the more sort of, you know, when you see 8 to 1 on or something like that for a grade 1, you do get a bit scary. And because this horse is sort of, you know, we've only seen one horse and he just keeps doing this. He's only 5 times, do you know what I mean, which is silly. You know, when the Sprinter had done it 15 times, you know, he was entitled to be a hero. This horse just has such an extraordinary way of doing it, and it is also ridiculously uncomplicated, and that, I think that is the beauty of him. His whole mind game is just brilliant. As Nico said, he was dossing turning into the straight, but Nico knows where the button is, and you press that and off we go. And it's been the same the whole way through, to be honest with you. You can throw any ground at him. I mean, we're never going to run him on good to firm ground or quicker. That would be madness. But, you know, you could go as soft as you like. It doesn't matter. His jumping it's just very easy to him. He'd jump fences if we wanted to, but don't worry, we're not going to do that next week.
Next year?
Let's just see what happens. I mean, what do you do? Do you know what I mean? It was a bit the same with, you know, with Altiori one year. You know, we thought about him staying in the Champion Hurdle League, but actually left that for Bouvardere and went chasing with him, and he won 19. Nearly all grade 1. So it's, you know, he's still got a long way to go, if you like, in those horses' terms. But it's the way he does it, isn't it, that is sort of so different.
I can't think there are many horses that get a round of applause on the way out for their 5th start. It's unbelievable.
Well, it is. That is the ridiculous thing about it. I mean, he is still a baby. He's only 5, and I say he's only had 5 runs in his life under point to point in Ireland.
What's he like to train, Nicky?
Well, that's the beauty of him. Absolutely. It's so uncomplicated. It's because that is him. He is, look, it takes Sean, who rides him every day, and Jane, who looks after him. I mean, about tell you, this is. I could actually ride him, but I also promise you I'm not going to do that. I gave up yonks ago. But he's every morning, it's just same old Constitution comes out. If you had 20, 30 horses out in first lot and he was in there, you wouldn't pick him out. There's nothing flashy about him at all until he gets out there. And then he just grows 3 inches and says, look at me. And it's just, again, having that mind game makes racing so easy for him, because he's not fretting in here and worrying about it or pulling, or you know, you could do anything you'd like with him.
And with that in mind, does it make it easier for you to decide whether or not you run him again before Cheltenham? Well,
there's so few options. I mean, I know we all want to run him again, but I can't. I know there is a so-called Champion Hurdle trial at Haydock. I mean, I'd love there to be a Grade 1 hurdle on trials day at Cheltenham. Well, that really would be a good race to have. So maybe we can have one of those in the future, because that's where we deserve to have one, really. Because, I mean, I used to use that thing called the Contenders Hurdle at Sandown for Bouvarderes, Epatantes, binoculars, all of them.
And you would do that now if it was there?
If that was there, it's only worth 25 grand. That's not the point. I mean, at least it would be a perfect place to give him a run.
Ireland?
Well, you know, I mean, it's not me. I think most English trainers would agree with me that, you know, having an away game that close to Cheltenham is not really how you would normally prepare. And I'm not going to say he won't, because we haven't had a chance to sit down and think. I think if it was, that would be the only option. Okay. I don't think he'll be in England until Cheltenham. We could be stupid and think about Ireland, but, you know, we have to mind him, to be fair, for all the right reasons. I hope people understand that it's, you know, yes, it's not all about Cheltenham, but it is as far as he's concerned at the moment, because the Champion Hurdle is what we've been. This is all about this programme we're on.
I'm concerned we haven't mentioned Epatante, so I feel we should get a line on her. The trouble is she's beaten so easily.
Yes, and you know, I've never known her better. She looks fantastic. I thought she'd come on a ton for Newcastle, and Aidan said that was, although Nico actually rode her in the Christmas Hurdle last year, but I mean, he said honestly, she was as good today as she was in the Christmas Hurdle last year, and she won on the bridle. But that's what he can do to them. I mean, it is freakish because we adore Epatante. She's been an absolute star. She won 3 Grade 1s last year herself, but he could just do it, and I'm afraid that's what we've got to face. I mean, there are options for Epatante to avoid him, but we'll talk to JP and see what he would like to do. But
regarding Cheltenham, do you think it's unlikely she'll go to a champion?
No, I mean she'll be in the champion. I think she's still got every chance of finishing second, but she does stay 2.5, and we'll have a think. I mean, we'll have to JP and see what he would like to do. He's got other horses as well for all the divisions, so it is a matter of seeing what we can do best.
Appreciate your time. Well done.
Not at all, pleasure.
Right, I thought I'd grab Michael Buckley just to get a reaction to Constitution Hill earlier on, who was electric, who was brilliant, who was apparently never out of second gear according to his rider in a Grade 1, so well done.
Thank you so much, thanks. He's a remarkable creature, isn't he?
I think he's just that. He's sort of, you can't really find the superlatives to describe him. Well, that's my job anyway. You watching him, what does it feel like to watch a horse like that? Is it easier when he's that good, or is it harder in some ways?
Well, in a sense, as people say who are sports people, that in a way it's easier if you're an outsider because the expectations are lower. And I think that as an owner, perhaps, that it's the same sort of way. I mean, I've never had a horse that's this good. And so I get kind of quite stressed by it, which is ridiculous. One should be totally relaxed and think, aren't you lucky, which I am, and or aren't we? Thinking of Nico and Nicky as well, and just sit back and just marvel at his ability. He's really extraordinary. In some way or another, he's put together and can do stuff that most horses can't do.
But I suppose your time in racing, racing so well that you know that for some reason it's never as simple as that, is it? And things can go wrong, so you've got to enjoy it while things are going as well as they are, as brilliant as he is.
Yeah, you have to, because there's always the problem with horses inevitably, humans to a degree, and horses more so, and particularly jump horses, that they can always go wrong. But I think he is of that sort of particular type now, where I remember Barry Geraghty saying to me, who, as you know, bought the horse as a foal, that when he rode Sprinter Sacro, he said, I just needed 2 things to be right: good health and good luck. And if the horse arrives in good health, if I put in a clear round, in all probability I would win. And I think that I don't want to sound arrogant, but I think this horse is in that kind of space now. And I think it's reasonable enough to say it because people have seen it.
I think it's very much reasonable enough to say that. And one thing I said to Nicky as well, which was quite nice, you won't get many horses on their 5th start that are applauded out onto the track. I mean, as far as the public go, the public appreciation is phenomenal, and yet we've only seen him 5 times.
I know. I mean, to me, we had that extraordinary day at Cheltenham last year, and to me it brought it home, actually up in Newcastle, which I'd never been to before, and the crowd there were just ecstatic. And I said to Nico after this race, they're not chanting your name, because he was being interviewed in the winner's enclosure in Newcastle, and a bunch of the crowd was saying, Nico, 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 and he had to have a sort of bunch of people escorting him out of the weighing room when he went to leave. And it's lovely for him because, the owners nowadays get lots of sort of attention and so forth, and obviously trainers do, but it's fantastic for him. It's just a miracle to end up with a horse like this. That is honestly what it is.
It seems like, speaking to the trainer, that this is all about the Champion Hurdle this season, and that is likely what he will do next, unless he goes to Ireland. But I got the impression that that's just a small possibility, not a likelihood, between now and Cheltenham.
I think that's right. I mean, last year he ran in the Tolworth, which is in, a week on Saturday, I guess. Something like that. don't know what the dates are, and then went straight to Cheltenham. So you can obviously, and as one can see from Newcastle, Nicky can get him ready to run a good race, having been off for a while. So the horse must be fit now. So I guess the inclination would be to go straight to Cheltenham. I don't think we'll go to Haydock, and probably not Wincanton, which may be a bit of a tight track for him. I mean, it's a pity it isn't next year's programme in a way, because they're running the International next year on trials date at Cheltenham. So if they, by the way, guys at Cheltenham, if you'd like to put the International on, which you cancelled, or the weather cancelled, on trials day, we'll show up, I think.
That might prick their ears up a little bit. But I got the impression at the back end of last year that the competitive spirit in you was half keen to go to Punchestown at the end of the season, for all you ended up not doing.
Well, I'm probably stupidly competitive. I mean, the more people rang me up and said, you can't possibly buy this horse at Doncaster because he looked so terrible, the more determined I felt, oh, to hell with it, I'll just do my own thing, which has tended to be my way. So we bought it, and it turned out to be a miracle. I didn't go to Doncaster. If I'd seen the horse, apparently he looked so terrible, I probably wouldn't have bought him. But so that's just lucky. Yeah, I kind of like the idea that it's the last race of the season. Why not go to Punchestown? But I went down to Nicky's on Good Friday for the Lambourne Open Day, and you could see the horse is really coming to the end of the line. And he was, only just 5. He'd been in training as a 3 to 4 year old, or as a 4-year-old, I should say, to try and be a point-to-pointer. And you could tell by his demeanour he was fretful, and he's one of the things he's not is fretful. I mean, I asked Richard, Nicky's travelling head lad, down at the pre-parade ring, how is he? And he said, oh, quiet as a mouse. And I said, okay, he's in good shape then, because that's just the way he is. I think he's got this extraordinary demeanour that nothing bugs him, nothing worries him. So he's got he ticks a lot of boxes to be a decent horse.
That's just that. Michael, thanks for your time.
My pleasure, thank you.